Hey again, it's another 2-week period, so it's time for another update. I've been looking through the last couple updates, and yeah, it seems like my writing is a solid blend between molasses and some kind of very boring show that you happen to decide to binge watch on Netflix because there's literally nothing better to do at the moment. So I'm going to work to make these videos not that in the future. The updates themselves will also be different from the first one. Rather than being a rough outline of the overall game, they will be split into story, art, and gameplay. Each section of this update will cover one of those three areas. I think this will streamline the updates so that you can get a good idea of what kind of progress is happening during a 2-week period on all fronts. So without further ado, let's get started off with the story. In my last video, I mentioned there was no magic in the game. Shockingly, I changed my mind. Now there's magic, but it's more like alchemy. Magic in this world is dug up from the ground in crystal form, then plunged into water to make it react and change to a sticky putty, which can then be manipulated into various forms of elemental magic. The reason it reacts with water is that anytime there's a rapid change in oxygen, the crystal reacts violently and burns like Greek fire. This makes water the best environment for the reaction to take place, since the fire is quenched by the water, leaving little putty burnt. The reason I am telling you all these drawn out details is that you'll have access to this in the game. So yeah, napalm grenades. I love how this game just continues to get more positive as it's developed. This moves us to the gameplay of the game. I'm a programmer by trade, so this will always be my most confident section. I wish I could say that this means I'll always be able to have something to show from this section that's really interesting, but I did just mention I'm a coder by trade. I have learned not to make such foolish promises. The hard way. Anyway, there are two major things that have changed this week for gameplay. The first is that I wrote a new optimization for a part of the movement algorithm. So not the thing that decides where the enemy decides to go, but what actually gets them there. It runs way faster, and will help with an ambitious idea I had for a game mode in this game. The second thing I did was actually implement the tile effects in the game. So now, if you stay in a desert tile too long, you will get a dry effect which will kill you if you end your turn on a desert tile again. Also for mountains, if you end your turn on a mountain and are hit, you will get bleed which will limit your movement rather than dying. However, if you're hit again with bleed active, you will die, even if you're on a mountain. This brings us to the final section of this update, art. Now I've been putting some serious time into getting better at creating pixel art, but as I said before, I'm a programmer by trade. This art thing is an ever-unraveling mystery to me, with weird words like no math and just approximate it. That's why it's good I'm working with two other gentlemen for this project now. It would be madness if it was just me scrambling to do it all, so having two artists that can help out makes the load on me much lighter. As a matter of fact, the art you saw in the last video was directly from one of those said artists. He might not be on for the full project, but his help is sure as hell appreciated. So that's it everyone, short and sweet. I hope. Next week, it'll be another tutorial video, and hopefully it won't be another 30-minute video tutorial, which is like a one-day trip through creek with piranhas everywhere.